Warning. The following program contains sensitive material such as spoiler alerts for the Twilight series, and if you've been living under a rock for the past, I don't know, like 10 years, then don't watch this video because it's going to contain spoilers and we're going to talk about some crazy stuff, okay? Okay, thanks, bye-bye. Please watch the video though. Thanks, bye. What's up? My name is Serena and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you've never been here before, never been to my corner of the internet. Today's video, I always act like this is some sort of like big reveal, like, oh, this is what today's video is going to be about. But you guys know what the video is going to be about because I put it in the title of the video. So the title of the video, that's what this video is about. Today's video can probably be categorized into the rant category because, well, you'll just see why. I just got done watching parts 1 and 2 of Breaking Dawn, which I have never seen before today. I've never seen them before. The first one, the first part of Breaking Dawn, I watched the first 10 minutes with my cousin before I fell asleep at her house once and have not seen the rest. Have not seen it since. So today was an eye-opening day. It's kind of irrelevant now. Nobody really talks about it. Nobody's really a fan. Team Edward, Team Jacob, who cares anymore? Like, it's kind of died off. I'm gonna be that person that brings it back today because I have so many burning questions after watching the last 2 movies, and I want to talk about them. I was that person, okay? I was that girl back in the 5th grade who saw Twilight the movie for the very first time and then went out and bought the other books and read them all and was obsessed with them. I was constantly like, Team Edward, Team Jacob, I don't know, Why was I so obsessed with it? You know what I'm saying? Like, you get older, you live life, and you're just like, why was that movie, why was that book everything to me? You know, like, why was that story so important to me? Everyone has that one book series that made them love books, and I think for me that was obviously Harry Potter, but for a lot of people that was Twilight. So I also appreciate it for what it did, and it opened up this new genre of like young adult fiction, and I appreciate it for what it did in that regard, but I think looking back, the story isn't actually as great as I thought it was at the time, if that makes sense. The Twilight books are huge. Like, it was my obsession that made me read them. I didn't even look at them and think like, this is a long book, how am I gonna get through this? No. That's just a little backstory on my history with the Twilight series. I was a fan, I'm not so much a fan anymore. Like with every story, they get hyped up when the books come out, more hyped up when the movies come out because everybody sees it, everybody knows the story, and then it kind of dies off. I think Breaking Dawn was my favorite book, and I honestly didn't want the movie to disappoint me or ruin it for me because my favorite story within the Twilight series was when Edward and Bella like got married and they went on their honeymoon. I just thought that book took us on the biggest adventure, and it was like the most fun, and I didn't like Eclipse at all, the movie, so I didn't want Breaking Dawn to like do that to me like Eclipse had done, if that makes sense. Anyway, that was like me talking way too much about the backstory behind all this. Now we're gonna get into all these burning questions that I have at the end of Breaking Dawn part 1 and 2. The things that don't make sense, the things that frustrate me. Here we go. Okay, question number 1, and I know this is question number 1 for everyone because this is the biggest plot hole in the entire series. It's a gaping plot hole. Okay, I feel like plot holes for a lot of books and a lot of stories, it's almost unavoidable to have like a few plot holes here and there because especially when you're writing in a fantasy fictional world, like there's a lot of loose ends, you can't tie them all up. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. I get that. Like, as a reader, you kind of a little bit have to suspend your disbelief because the author can't wrap everything up in this nice little bow for you when it comes to fantasy and paranormal and all that type of writing. Like, I get that. 100% understand. I'm a writer myself, and it is hard to make sure that you don't leave these little plot holes here and there because you want your story to make sense. But this plot hole, Stephanie Meyer, the author of Twilight, she knew that this was a plot hole. She should have come up with an explanation. She should have put it in her book. But even if she didn't do that, she should come up with an explanation of why this happened because it makes no freaking sense. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. Okay, question number 1. They say in the Twilight books, and they even explain it visually in the movie, that when a human becomes a vampire, all their bodily fluids, their blood, their water, their spit, their other bodily fluids, they turn into venom, and this venom is poisonous to humans. The side effect being you get injected with this venom, you get bitten, you become a vampire. Like that's what the whole story is about. So it doesn't make any sense. Okay, I don't want to get like TMI, but it makes no sense that he can have sex with her, get his bodily fluids in her, and get her pregnant. Like, cause he doesn't have sperm. It's not sperm, it's venom. If anything, it should have turned her into a vampire. That makes no sense to me. I feel like that was just a very like, I don't know if she like wasn't always planning on them having a kid and just thought of it like halfway through the series, or if it was just, I don't know. It just seems like irresponsible writing to me. Like she should have came up with an explanation because that bothers me so much. It bothered me when I read the books, and now that I've seen it again in the movie, it's like bringing it all back. Like I have so many questions. I don't understand. Okay, my second question for this is, okay, not really a question, but just kind of a statement. I feel like Stephanie Meyer, in her writing the story, picks the most convenient way out of situations and writes that into the story. Like, for example, it makes no sense to me. No sense at all to me. Maybe someone else can explain this who gets this series better. Makes no sense at all to me that she should write that Jacob imprints on Bella's daughter when she's born. It makes no sense like that. I know that you can't help who you imprint on. I'm yelling again. I know that the story is you can't help who you imprint on, but like, why is he imprinting on a baby? That makes no sense to me. Nobody else in his pack did anything that ridiculous. So it doesn't make any sense except for the fact that it's just very convenient, a convenient way to solve their problem with the werewolves in Forks. Like the werewolves, I'm pretty sure they were coming after Renesmee to kill her, the baby. And he's like, oh no, I imprinted on her. I'm like such a hand talker, it's annoying. But he's like, oh no, I imprinted on her, so you guys have to leave her alone. That makes no, like, and also, if he imprinted on her, and that means that they're supposed to like be together forever. Does that, like, what? They said that she's not gonna get like older than like a teenager, right? That guy that came, I forget how old he was, but he like grew to be like a teenager and then stopped growing. So is he like gonna be like sexually attracted to her when she's a teenager? And also, if Jacob is a werewolf, do werewolves age like vampires? I forget. I think they explain this in the book. I think that as you're a wolf, you don't age, but then when you like grow out of it, you age. I don't know. It makes no sense. Like, how is that gonna work? If she's gonna be 17 or whatever forever, just like Edward and Bella, how is he gonna be with her when he's like 90 years old? I need that question answered. Maybe that is actually a question that I can get answered, but I don't understand why she had him be imprint on her. And also, when he imprinted on her and Edward came out and said they can't attack her because he imprinted on her, I was like, how did he know that? This brings me to my next question. Edward can read his mind. So Edward can read Jacob's mind. He knew that Jacob imprinted on her, but what I don't understand, and maybe this is just me being really picky as a writer, storyteller, author, whatever, why a lot of our problems that could have been solved with Edward reading their mind, all of a sudden Edward like can't read minds? Like, there's a lot of things that happen where they're like caught off guard, or just like anything really. Like, it's like Edward's powers are only in effect when like they want him to be in I don't know, it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand why. And maybe I know this is probably just the movie part, but and it's probably just done for cinematic effect or whatever, but Bella is in the room giving birth to her little vampire child that's like killing her from the inside out. Edward knows that like once they get the baby out of her, he's gonna have to turn her into a vampire or she's gonna die like immediately. So what I don't understand, and I literally like Snapchatted my cousin Brianna asking, like ranting about this moment. I don't understand why she's dying. She's literally, her ribs are all cracked, blood everywhere. I mean, they painted this picture in the book as like really graphic. I was like, how are they gonna make this movie not be rated R? Because just the labor scene alone is gonna be graphic. Her ribs are broken, there's blood everywhere, her internal organs are shot. Like she's literally like dead pretty much. I mean, she's still breathing, but she's dead pretty much. And he's just like holding Renesmee like, I love you so much. I hated you a couple hours ago, but I love you so much. And she's dying. I know that this adds dramatic effect to the movie, but like, get your ass over there and fix her. Like, make her a vampire so she doesn't die. I don't understand why he just stands there. It frustrates me. I know that that's not how it happened in the book. I know that it's just the movie, but this is, why would you stand there as your wife dies? And then it's like the very end is like the question of, is she gonna wake up as a vampire or is she dead? Like, we don't know what happened, blah blah blah. And she wakes up and it's like, wow, you barely made it, you barely saved her. Next thing that bothers me so much and I have so many questions about is the second movie, okay? Bella gets a paper cut on her finger. I have a cut on my finger, dude. Focus on my finger. This is my middle finger. Anyway, I cut myself on a stapler. Like, I was getting staples out of a box and the staple just went and it was like split in half, bleeding, and I was so sad. Anyway, she gets a paper cut on her finger and it's literally like a drip, drip, drip of blood, like a little tiny drip of blood. And Jasper, who is their newest vampire in the family, like freaks the freak out and like attacks her. I think someone like shoves her away and that's how she cuts her arm. I don't really remember, honestly. But he literally freaks out over a paper cut because he's new. And that's whatever. And I know Bella has some sort of like special blood that all the vampires like, so like I guess that makes sense. But when Bella is a brand new vampire, so Jasper freaks out over a paper cut when he is like over 100 years old. I don't remember how old he was, but I'm pretty sure he was around during like the Civil War. So he's been around for like a long time. He's not like a new vampire, you know? Then when Bella turns into a vampire, after like a couple weeks, she's perfectly fine. She doesn't have any cravings, and even in the movie, like the first time she goes out hunting, she gets like this, like she's attracted to human blood, and then she like restrains herself and doesn't suck their blood, and it's like, that makes no sense. The only reason that it's like this is for convenience, because it would make no sense for her to be this hungry, crazed vampire when she just had a baby and she needs to be a mother to her baby, but also her baby's growing really fast, and then the Volturi is gonna come, and the Volturi, whatever the frick they're called, is gonna come. Like, it's just a convenience thing, and Stephanie Meyer does this all the time. She writes stuff just for convenience, and it's so annoying. If you want to make it where it only takes a couple weeks for a vampire to like get over the thirst for blood, you shouldn't make Jasper freaking out over a paper cut, even if it is Bella's special blood. I don't understand that. I have so many problems with that. I don't understand it. That was like pretty much it. Those are my main burning questions. I actually feel like I could go on forever and ever about questions that I have after watching this movie, mostly because I haven't like delved into this world in a long time and it kind of doesn't make sense to me anymore. Revisiting this as an adult kind of frustrates me because I don't have as big as of imagination. Like, things have to make sense in my mind now. I think back in the day, you know, when I was just a little kid, I was like, oh, it's fine, like we don't need to know the answers, and now I'm like, I need to know the answers. So that's the problem we have today. If you stayed until the end of this video, you're the real MVP, because this was just a mess of a video in a mess of a video. Yeah. So, if you're still watching this, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you sometime soon with another video. Bye! Oh shoot, I should probably